Happy Friday, Horizon. Greg Beckel here in my, I'm actually in the kitchen. Not working out of my office because I got a little bit bored with that. Those four walls were kind of caving in on me. So I made a change of location, makes me closer to the fridge, which, as most of you know, that makes me happy. I want to start the partner video with a big, huge thank you to everyone that works for Horizon. The effort has been extraordinary. I literally have not heard one complaint. These are absolutely uncharted waters, and we are plowing ahead with vigilance, with a positive attitude, and with success. We're winning the leasing war, and we are winning the collections war, and just so proud of our people. And thank you, thank you, thank you. That's from every partner. When I talked yesterday at the partner meeting about the fact that I was going to do this video today, all partners said, make sure you thank them for their extraordinary efforts. So way to go, HRA. HRA is stronger than ever, and I love it. The Pledge of Excellence is alive and well, and we've got to protect it, we got to preserve it, we got to work hard on it, and we don't have a COVID-19 manual for the Pledge of Excellence, so just make sure you're the best in the market on all four pieces. Pledge of Excellence is strong, and it is an incredible backbone to lean on as you go through these uncharted waters. So I'm going to touch on some highlights. We've had a lot of meetings since my last call. We're doing the partner meetings daily, and sometimes they go 3 hours. I'm going to hit some highlights. First and foremost, the Small Business Association Payroll Protection Program. Horizon has been granted a loan which will cover 8 weeks of payroll at each of our owned and managed properties, which is huge. The way we're looking at that is it's going to cover for delinquency and other income losses. And in most cases, it more than covers for that because we're going to pay the payroll anyway. That's our commitment as a company. We're employee first, period, end of sentence. So that was approved. We have the money in our accounts. Chris and the accounting team are working hard on how to distribute that and the proper accounting. Again, it's uncharted, so it's not as easy as money comes in and money goes out. We got to figure out the proper channeling and the way to look at it from an accounting perspective. We were one of the first in on that program, and Mike and Tim were just on edge that we would be the first in line because other companies were not going to get money because the allocation ran out, and that turned out to be true. So kudos to Mike and Tim for pushing this and for making it a super high priority. Just some other items. We talk about the delinquency and the deferment program every single day. We get an update, comes to us from CJ, and we look at each property, and what we're looking for is the gain day over day. And we do individual shout outs, you know, woohoo! Like I know that in preparing for today's partner meeting that the VNC collected $12,500 yesterday, and that's going to get a big shout out at the partner meeting. Another consistency is we're looking at the lease ups. Every lease counts, conventional, student, and one a day makes the doctor stay away is our attitude. And you know, during normal spring lease ups, late spring lease ups, you know, we'd be looking for 5 a day and 3 a day and huge numbers. Well, one is better than none, and 1 a day for a week is kicking our opponents' butts. And we're market leaders, and that's what we do. So we look at that across the board on all of the assets on a day-to-day basis. We talked about Holy Cross has a lease at U Edge, and we talked about that lease. They're wanting to wiggle out of it kind of from the same perspective that a resident would want to. Hey, our kids aren't living there, so we don't want to pay. Well, that doesn't work. You have a lease document, you have to live by it. There's been a lot of discussion about that in the media. And there was an article in the New York Times today saying, asking the question, do I have to pay my rent? And if you read that article, it says, yes, you do, because the collection risk at the end isn't worth taking a stand on a contract that you have signed where you have no legs to defend your position. So that was great that that's getting out. That hasn't been the norm in the media. The media wants to say, hey, your landlord should waive your rent because they're really nice people. And we are nice people, but we have a mortgage payment, we have to pay utilities, we have payroll, we have bills too. So that's been good. We're augmenting the Horizon budget. This what's going on now will have an impact on our income stream. And so Mike and Lauren and Chris are working on that. So far, it hasn't been a major impact, but there is an impact. We reviewed some capital expense spending at properties where two things were happening. One is they were maybe spending a little bit more than we wanted to, so we wanted to tighten that up a bit. I think you've heard about that over the past week. Secondly, we talked about just making sure that we are spending enough in certain applications so that we can still turn apartments and be ready for the next group of residents. We had a discussion about Crossing Place. Crossing Place has some financial issues as it gets into turn, and we're working on contingency plans to provide the necessary capital if there is any necessary to get through the summer. I think we're going to be fine there, was our conclusion yesterday. Got to keep leasing, and we're going to obviously own that asset for a while, and Lauren and team have done a wonderful job. So keep on with that. We had a discussion, we had a sale on the Republic that went sideways, and the buyer owes us a little bit of money. So we had a discussion on the appropriate move that we should make as a company to urge them to pay. We talked about the deferral program again, and from a perspective of comparing it with what our competitors are doing, our conclusion is it's market leading. We were one of the first to throw it out there. It's fair, it's practical, and it's also empathetic. So I think you can continue to work with that with confidence that what you're doing and what you're asking the residents to do is super fair and it's customer first. I got to switch to this other one. Bear with me. Okay, so we talked about websites at a recent meeting, making sure that the website has easy and direct access to a virtual tour. Number two, that it very clearly spells out the great opportunity to rent that you have right now. Some properties are offering the best special that they've ever offered because of COVID. And example is at Coug Housing, we have never offered a concession in our 14 years in Pullman, and we're offering a $200 concession right now. It's critical that Tina and Jesse let our customers know that this is a one-time thing. It's not going to happen again. And it's also going to go away as the restrictions are lifted. So it's important that your teams have the same attitude. Many of you are offering deals you've never offered before. Customers need to know that, and they need to be urged to jump on it. The next item is, we talked about some articles that have been written that are really not positive, and I touched on the rent piece earlier and the responsibility for a resident to pay. We talked about some other articles that affect landlords. there is this thinking in the market that if you are a landlord, you're going to get your mortgage payment waived for a period of time. And that program is available, but there's negatives to it that make it very unappealing for us, to the point where I don't think we're going to apply for any mortgage relief because of the negative black mark that goes on Horizon's record for future deals. You know, we pay every bill every time, and we want to have the most perfect reputation in the market, and this program would mar our perfect record. So those are the highlights. Once again, I want to thank everyone for being a part of the Horizon team and for handling these extraordinary times in the best possible way. I'm proud of our group, proud of our leaders, proud of our people in the field busting their butts during these tough times. And you know, there's risk to that, and don't want anyone to put themselves in a position of risk. But boy, I sure appreciate the effort. Thank you. So let's all have a great weekend. Let's keep being number one. We appreciate you. Thank you very much.